This episode is graciously sponsored by one of my new favorite companies, the Buffalo Wool Co. Y'all know I have great love and respect for America's national mammal, the bison. My very first episode was over the wild and woolly beast, so when I tell you I discovered a company that makes 100% bison wool products 100% in America, you know how excited I got. The Buffalo Wool Co. makes the most incredible and comfortable socks you've ever worn. Not only are the Buffalo Wool Co. socks comfortable, but they are warm. You can wear them in the house, to bed, or on a hike. I wore mine in the sands of Great Sand Dunes National Park, and I've worn my Buffalo Wool Co. socks while hunting in the northern forests of Wisconsin. I plan on wearing them for the rest of my life. Buffalo Wool Co. 100% guarantees you will love the product or your money back. The owners of Buffalo Wool Co. have been raising bison in North Texas for almost 30 years, and they're even more passionate about the amazing animals than I am. Buffalo Wool Co. not only makes socks, but also knit caps, gloves, scarves, and extremely warm and comfortable clothing for kids. My wife and I have a little one on the way, and I will absolutely be keeping our kids snug and warm with the Buffalo Wool Co.'s expanding brand. If you like being comfortable and warm and looking awesome while doing it, and if you support 100% made in America clothing, by people who are passionate about these animals and the ranchers who raise them, you will love the Buffalo Wool Co. Head over to their website, thebuffalowoolco.com, or my website, theamericansouthwest.com, where there will be a link on the home page. That's thebuffalowoolco.com.
There it is.
There it is. Good morning, Mr. Chris. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Well, good.
What do you go by first name in general? Thomas?
Thomas. Yeah,
Thomas?
I ain't old enough for Tom, really.
I got Uncle Tom.
Maybe one day. Yeah. So one of the benefits of doing like a podcast is I get like a lot of cool stuff from people. I've gotten like a 700-year-old pot. I've gotten a book of 1,200 recipes, and I got your song you gave to me. It
Yes,
is
sir.
Ballad of a Man Killer Lion.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you tell everyone about yourself real quick? I mean, I don't honestly know too much about you, so I need to learn too.
Okay. Well, man, short story or long story?
Let's do
I
long.
play music. Do long. Try not. I play music. For almost 20 years, I've had a license to shoe horses on the racetrack, and I rope steers, team rope, and I've really only recently gotten the nerve up, or I guess honestly, really took after following what I think I'm supposed to do, which is write some songs and publish them. So that's one of the parts of it. But
well, I'm glad you did.
I'm glad you like it. It means a lot, because sometimes it feels like you're shouting into the void, which I'm sure you understand, creating things.
Oh, I understand.
But yeah.
So you're a real cowboy.
Well, that's a hard question. I mean, some would say no, some would say yes, but
I'm gonna say yes.
I honestly wasn't born into it at all. My dad went to Harvard, and my mom's, Hillsdale College, and they're real, maybe more on the intellectual side. And I, being a homeschooler, they were early adopters on the homeschooling. Then I started reading a lot when I was really young, and I read Andy Adams' Log of a Cowboy, and Will James, Smokey, and Zane Grey, and the list goes on. The Virginian, I probably read the Virginian 7 or 8 times, I guess.
That's a good one.
And yes, it is a good one. I need to reread it. As a matter of fact, I haven't read it in a few years, but honestly,
my wife actually started a collection of Zane Grey novels. I think we've got 25 at this point. I didn't realize
there were that many. I think I've read a couple myself. No kidding. Which ones are your favorite so far?
Oh man, just too tough. Pass.
Yeah.
I only read 2 of them, so both of them I liked, but my wife has read a good 15 of them, I think, maybe 10.
Oh wow.
She goes through them real quick.
So your wife's a reader?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're both readers. She reads fiction. I read non.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm more with her. I've read a lot more fiction than I ever have. I mean, I read plenty of both, but yeah. But
well, that's great. So where are you out of? I would assume maybe Texas.
I live in Arkansas. I've been here.
Arkansas.
I've been here for since about 2007, off and on. My wife is from here, and I was actually born in Northern California, and my family moved around a lot. So I ended up here with the racetrack, kind of like a gypsy. Ended up staying for a while. So, and honestly, what I claim is my dad's father, his grandfather founded a town in Oklahoma called Crescent during the land rush, which is outside of it's kind of north central. It's near Enid, and the family legend has it that they left the night before and got the best claim, staked off 5 acres and set up a town, and they had a wagon where they traded goods, and they had a store, and Sooners allegedly.
I spent 11 years in Oklahoma. I went to the University of Oklahoma, so I'm
awesome.
a Sooner by name only.
Okay. Well, so did you go in Norman, I assume?
I did, yes, sir.
Okay. That's fun. I used to when I went to horseshoeing school, I was right down the road from there. This is in like 2003. So we ran around Norman a lot and went to pool halls and other places of ill repute. But
I was there 2005 to 2010.
Dang, I just missed you.
Oh, man.
What did you take? What did you take there, if you don't mind my asking?
Archaeology, anthropology.
Oh, no kidding.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yep. I use it a lot in my current day job as a financial advisor.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I use it for the podcast only.
Yeah. Well, that's cool that you found, that your podcast does seem to coincide with, if that's your interest, and I guess naturally that's why you did it. I've just started digging into your podcast. I've only got almost all the way through the last one about the Apaches, which is pretty wild. It's
a tough one to listen to, I think.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Well, it reminded me of reading, I know it's fiction, but reading Blood Meridian, which I just now recently read. I got to reread that because I felt like there was a point I was just missing, and I'm pretty dense when it comes to picking out, whatever. My uncle's an English professor, and he's real good at helping you read a book and get something. Now, sometimes I think I have a better idea, though, so I don't know.
It is definitely worth rereading, but it is dense for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, so I got you on the show today because of the song "Ballad of a Man Killer Lion."
Uh-huh.
You sent it to me, and I listened to it. And then I just had to keep listening to it over and over again. And then my wife woke up and I made her listen to it. And then I sent it to the group chat and I put it on myself. I was like, everyone's got to listen to this song. It is great. So I'm going to play the song right now. And so everyone can hear it. I'm going to add it in post so you and I can hang out. But I'm going to play the song for everybody so they can hear it. And then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Down from Alamosa, across the Rio Grande, to track a killer lion, lost his fear, man. First seen around El Rito, he laid a rancher down, killed the rancher's daughter, was gone out of sound. And the purple sage and caprock is never out of bounds when you chase the mighty lion behind slobber-headed hounds. Not much trace of man out here, the painted canyon walls. The ancient pagan hunters so could chase and fall. Now the lever action rifle and horses change the game, but their ghosts still hunt beside me, the chase still feels the same. Purple sage and caprock is never out of bounds when you chase the mighty lion behind slobber-headed hounds. Now the hounds my father left me are ranging out of sight. I stand up in my saddle in the early morning light. I can see the good gyp circle, and I know it won't be long till the canyon rings are striking dry, the lion will be found. And the purpose edge and Cap Rock is never out of bounds when you chase the mighty lion behind slobber-headed hounds. Finds a lonely juniper to make his final stand. 3 faithful hounds lie dying, blood shining on the sand. And the good jib leaps up in the air, as low as murder charge. My rifle cracks, a whisper late, I can feel his iron jaw. The purple sage and Cap Rock is never out of bounds when you chase the mighty lion behind slobber-headed hounds. Now the eagle sees us falling, the hunter and the prey. His shadow crosses lifeless bodies, where side by side we lay. And the good jib sits upon the rim, and all alone she cries a death song for her master, killed the mighty lion. Purple sage and Cap Rock is never out of bounds when you chase the mighty lion behind slobber-headed hounds. Yeah, the purple sage and Cap Rock is never out of bounds when you chase the mighty lion behind slobber-headed hounds.
So I love that song. If I had been listening to it right now, instead of adding it in post, I probably would have teared up a little bit. So that's one of the reasons why I can't play it right now.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I mean, it's hard to talk about too. And I'd had that idea for that song for several years, and I'd kind of worked off and on, and not very much. I just had it in the back of my head. And early last summer, I was over in Oklahoma at the racetrack shoeing, and my wife wasn't there, so I was walking every morning and thinking, and I had just listened to Athenian Stranger talk about Homer, and I had a new concept of kind of honor and glory. So that kind of spurred me a little bit. And then a friend of mine who actually gave a songwriting credit to, I don't know him that well, his name's Wade Hatch. He lives out in New Mexico, and he wrote some poetry lines that he put on social media, and I stole a couple of them, and it kind of made everything click. And it took about 3 or 4 weeks of me just walking every morning and trying to work the song out in my head. And when I had an idea for the tune, but when I finally got all written down to my satisfaction, I sat down there and played it, and I got to the end, and I was just crying. I had tears coming up. Like, that sounds, no homo or whatever, but man,
no.
Like, it kind of hit me the same way, honestly. And I'm glad I'm not the only one. I mean, sometimes I play it for people, and they may or may not like it, and it's okay. I like it, so I'm going to keep playing it.
Well, I think you should. So Wade Hatch lives in New Mexico. Do you know where at?
I could find out. I actually met him. Yeah, he lives up. I know it's in probably north central.
Okay.
And kind of in the mountains. And
okay.
He actually had
maybe Las Vegas area or something.
Yeah, probably. Could be. I'm gonna say probably a little bit west of there, but then again, my geography of that area is not super strong right now. So, but I was out probably 3-4 years ago in in Arizona. We were team roping for the winter, and I was playing fiddle with a guy at another team roping camp, and he was there, and we kind of played, messed around, played some songs, and he and he seemed like a real cool guy. And he's got his family's had mountain lion dogs, and I've always wanted to go mountain lion hunting. I've never been myself, and so I was like, hell yeah, man, let's go. And he said, yeah, well, so we kind of followed each other on social media, and I've never been back. So one of these days I'm gonna. But anyway, when I finished the song, I texted him. I say, man, I stole a couple lines from you to make the song. If you don't mind, I'll give you half credit or whatever on the right. He's like, hell yeah, So he was awesome. Cool about it. Yeah.
That is really.
And he actually has. I'll give him a plug. He's got once again, I don't know the name of the town, but if you search this, it's real easy to find. He's got horses, hounds, and mules sale up there at once a year up there in New Mexico. They get a bunch of quality mountain riding mules and horses and just line dogs that people bring over. And I've never been to it, but I'd love to go out one day and watch. I like that kind of stuff, even though I'm not really a mountain hunter.
I'll find it and put a link in the show notes.
Sweet.
So have you traveled much in the Southwest?
My first time out there was when I was in college a long time ago. I went with a guy I know. There was a kind of a friend in college to Gallup, where his family was from. So we spent a few days out there and went around the Red Rocks, and they were family friends with the guy that owns that. There's that Navajo pawn shop. I don't remember what it's called, but or the trading post in Gallup, and they've got like just a treasure trove of silver and turquoise, old guns, saddles. All the Indians kind of keep them there for. I don't know if I should say Indians or the Navajo keep them there for safekeeping, basically, when they're out in the reservation. And that was my first. Probably actual being old enough to remember being out there. And we didn't go much out. We didn't go out there a whole lot till 17. I started going out there to rope a little bit. And that's where everyone goes. If you team rope, then one of the best places is Arizona in the winter, because you can go to 2 or 3 jackpots a day. So that was a shock. I never really spent any time there. And over time, the last time we went a couple of years ago, I spent 4 months. So I really we had some friends that had a side by side. We ride out in the desert and look at all the old rock drawings. And I mean, it was pretty awesome. I love to see it. I don't know if I could live there though. Do you live in the desert area, or I guess you live in the Southwest?
Yeah, I'm 7,000 feet up in the mountains,
wow.
Just east of Albuquerque on I-40. Off of Route 66, okay. Really. So
yes,
those
sir.
Sandia Mountains, I live behind them up in the. Oh, it's about 10 to 15 degrees cooler up here than like in Albuquerque.
Wow, man, that's awesome.
Lots of trees. I'm looking at trees right now. We're getting like wind gusts of 60 mile per hour today, so a little different than down in the desert.
No kidding. Is that normal to have fairly extreme weather, or is it normally pretty chill?
Man, I was certain it was going to be chill, but it is pretty extreme weather. We get lots of wind. We got lots of snow. It's always melted the next day. But it don't get too hot, thankfully. We get monsoons, the big old storms pile up and come on and drop loads of water on us. It's beautiful. Wow. We can see about 120 miles into the desert. So
man. Nice. So you're high enough. You have a vista. You can look out. Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah. You'll have to come visit sometime, man. We got to spare.
Man, that'd be cool. We'll do it. There's some. When I was in Arizona, I did get to drive up a couple times towards a little bit north. The first time I came down through the top corner of the state, hauling a couple horses, and I was like, man, I'm not doing that again, because I drove through the mountains and it was snow and it was like a.
Down through the Apache Res over there on the. Corner.
Once again, there's not much there. I'll say that.
Yeah. Or it could have been the Chusca Mountains, actually.
You would know better. I came out of Amarillo and just kind of cut southwest from there. I mean, it was.
Yep.
It was, and then another time I went through the Guadalupe Mountains, and that was a lot cooler.
Yeah, those are beautiful. Harsh, but beautiful.
That's wild.
Yeah. When
you drive up there to see them, I never seen them, of course, and it was like you can't even believe that. like you can't even believe it's there, you know. In fact, I had a little trailer, a horse trailer with a couple bales of hay on top, and I went all the way through up around the peaks just for grins, I guess. And there was wind was blowing so hard it blew that hay off the top, and I didn't even know where it was. I got down where I was going. I was like, oh man,
it's in the desert.
Yeah, somewhere.
That's the tallest point in Texas, right there in the Guadalupe Mountains.
Oh yeah,
There was
I
an
don't
old
doubt that
coral reef at one point.
No kidding.
I got
So the
pushed
water
up.
would have been.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah, it is a really cool area.
Yeah. So did your interest in geology, did that lead you to move out to where you live now, or is that incidental to it?
So when I was 16, my father moved the whole family to Oklahoma from northern Georgia.
Okay.
And I didn't want to go, obviously. But once we're, growing up, vacation was the beach. It was Florida or South Carolina.
Yeah.
And then we were an hour from the Appalachians, from the Smokies, so we went there all summer too. But once I got to Oklahoma, the cool place to go visit is the Southwest. First Las Vegas, and then Arizona and Sedona. So we traveled out here a few times, and I just fell in love with it. I was probably 17 the first time we went out here. And then during college, I started studying archaeology, and I got real interested in the people that lived out here. And then from Oklahoma to Wisconsin, which is too cold.
That's random.
But every year, starting in 2014, I spent 2 weeks in the Southwest. And then I got married, and my wife at the time, she's from Wisconsin, but she was living in Southern California. And so I moved to Southern California to be with her after we got married, and lived there for a year and a half. And so we traveled the Southwest then too. We just knew we had to get out because we wanted to raise a family and we weren't doing that in California.
Yes,
and
sir.
So she found us this house online, and we bought it sight unseen. And my sister lives about an hour away. She came and visited with my parents, and they were like, you got to buy it. It's perfect. You'll love it.
Heck yeah.
And so, yeah, now that we lived out here, we traveled every weekend until about 6 months ago because my wife we have like a 8-day-old in the other room. So
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I know that's your first one, I assume.
It is. Yes, sir.
I've got one son myself, and I know it's super cliched, but everyone always says you don't understand what it's like till you have your own, and it really, there's no words, I guess. Yeah,
it's true. Are you teaching him to rope and to shoe and?
Yes,
ride?
He doesn't care about shoeing. He does. It looks like work to him, I guess. But he might not have a choice in the matter. But he's only 8 right now. But and he can swing a rope, and he's never cared about it till real recently. And he's finally started. Some of his friends mess around with it, and so I think he's kind of got a little fire under him for a moment. So
well, good. That's good.
I'm excited. Yeah,
I hope to raise my son similarly, although I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I got a big old lasso. I bought like a training one, and I got real good at it. So then I bought a real one, and I'm not as good at it. But I got to get out there and just start roping stumps.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what kinds you get. Some are a lot easier to use than others. So I don't know. I'm going
to say I bought the hard one.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Man, I've had this idea for a while. Honestly, I have a Substack called San Eloy Nation, which is the patron saint of cowboys, blacksmiths, goldsmiths, something. Anyway, lately the direction I've thought about taking it is just is doing in-person beginner roping clinics for fathers and sons, and like try to take it on the road a little bit, because it's so fun. Like kids, at the team ropings or cowboy churches, which I don't attend. I go to ropings there, but the kids, you play for hours. I mean, all those kids, all ages, and I can do it. I can play with them for 2 to 3 hours, and it's fun. You know what I mean? And rope goats. You don't need to have any animals or anything, but I'd like to get more of the people that I go to church with and more young guys involved. You know what I mean? And I'm not the one to teach you how to team rope, but I know I learned as an adult, so I kind of know the pitfalls, some of the ins and outs of learning the very basics. So one of these days,
that's a really good idea.
I think it'll be. In fact, I plan on doing it. I'm just so busy right now that it's on the back burner, I guess. But
yeah, in about a month, in Edgewood, New Mexico, they're having the Wild West Festival. It's their second year. My wife and I went last year, and they have a little roping station, and they got like a shootout, like I don't want to call it a play, but like a reenactment shootout.
Yeah.
It's only their second year, but I think it's growing. So if you ever have any time, just get on I-40 and head straight to Edgewood and
it's
check
hard,
it out.
It's not hard to find.
Nope.
I can be on I-40 in about an hour or so from where I live. So which is wild. I mean, it's not the most pleasant highway to drive across.
No.
So, I mean, I'll say that, but
you're going to have to go through the entirety of Oklahoma.
Yeah. So it's called the Wild West Festival or
something like that.
Yeah.
We plan on dressing up the 1-month-old, taking him out there.
Hey, heck yeah.
We dressed up last year. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So they have reenactors and stuff, or is it? Yeah,
they do. Yeah, and that's something I kind of want to get into. Actually, is Civil War reenactment. Because for a while here, they had them for long decades. They had them here in New Mexico, and then they put them on the back burner in 2020, and now I think they're redoing them again. So I went down to back in February. I went down to Anthem, Arizona, just north of Phoenix. And I went to a Civil War reenactment, and I said I'm going to sign up with them. I haven't yet, because when I came back, I found out they're doing them now in New Mexico. So I don't got to drive 6 hours to Phoenix.
Yeah,
but
go closer to home.
I think that'd be really cool.
So when you sign up, do they have a draft? So like you might go blue,
I might have
side of gray the other day. You might have to go on the.
No, I'm gray only.
Okay.
I'm gray only. They got plenty of blue, it turns out, and not enough gray.
Yeah. Okay. So put me in, coach.
Yep. I just don't have any of the accoutrement. So I need to gather up that kind of stuff. But
yeah, when I was a kid, my family would take us. I've been to several of the Civil War reenactments, and I remember it was awesome. And of course, I got fired up when you were about 8 or 9 years old, and I got all the old leather gear and guns and stuff. Man, there for a minute I thought I wanted to do it, but I was never lasting. But I appreciate it though. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it should be pretty fun. So, do you go hunting often? Not mountain lion hunting, but just hunting in general.
No, I've done a lot of deer hunting in my life, and I like dove hunting, but mostly deer hunting. That was always my thing. In the last few years, I've been kind of slowed down on it. I mean, I've shot a couple little ones here and there, but I'm not. My whole teen years and going, and even after into my 20s, I a day. I mean, that was my big time, but I guess I've had other things that take over in priority, but I love it.
I need to do it more. I just bird hunt up in Wisconsin, really, but I would like to get some elk. I wanted to get some tags this year, but I totally forgot.
So is there a lottery there in New Mexico?
Mm-hmm. There sure is.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can put in for everything, and you're bound to get something, but
I see. Yeah. I didn't know this, but Texas has a non-native elk population, or I guess native, they come over from New Mexico, but they're considered an invasive species.
Oh,
and I met this guy in Dallas who has a big ranch down there on the southwestern part, and some of his neighbors got together and hired a biologist because they have many thousands of acres between them, and they manage this herd like a regular state would. And there's some big elk down there, but they can shoot them, call them whatever, cool. Yeah. I don't know him that well. He just told me the story one time, and if I ever talk to him again, I'll try to get a little like, hey man, give me the hookup.
Yeah. Can I come on your land for a minute?
Yeah.
The sponsor of my show is Buffalo Woolco, and they live near Dallas, and they recently have had attacks on humans by mountain lions.
Oh, wow.
And the state has tried to suppress it, but they killed it, I think. Yeah. This group of teenagers, they were out hunting it specifically, and some dude went off to go pee, and they were using night vision goggles, and that lion was stalking him. So their friends in the back of the pickup truck shot the lion, showed it to the the wildlife dudes in Texas, and they're like, nah, that's just an escaped lion. That's not real. But they're seen all over Texas these days.
Yeah.
Which I thought was wild.
I think it's the same thing happens in Arkansas. The official position of the Game and Fish is they don't live here, no matter how many people see them, and it's all hearsay. And some people say, "Oh, you're just wanting to believe rumors. You chase Bigfoot or whatever." But I know too many people that have seen him. So I guess it has to do with money and management. They don't want to admit it's there. Then they have to put in a whole new division or something. I don't know what the deal is exactly, but.
Okay, I was about to ask that. Why wouldn't they acknowledge that there is a man eater in the presence of?
Well, you think besides liability, I mean, I guess it just would be a lot more work to manage a mountain lion herd, and it probably has federal ramifications. I honestly don't know that. Well, I'm kind of talking out of my hat, but that's what someone told me, was that it would just cause a lot of trouble for the Department of Game and Fish if they were to admit it.
I can see that, yeah. So yes, sir. Or I guess let me ask this real quick about the song.
Go ahead.
So I just love the slobber-headed hounds line. Just to go back to the song. Is that I've never hunted. Well, I have hunted with dog, like a bird dog, but you said your friend had line dogs?
Yes. Yeah, they use hounds, and you should probably talk to him, because that was one of the lines that I took from him to make the song, which I don't know if it kind of, the way it keeps repeating, it can be monotonous, but also I think it's reminding me of like the Wine Dark Sea kind of.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's monotonous. I think
real repetitive. And honestly, that was basically the piece that like finally clicked, where I felt like it was a song when I put that in. I mean, just that combination of words was what felt like it made the chorus go and made the whole thing. It's odd. Like, you have to think about it. And of course, I've done a little bit of coon hunting and stuff when I was younger, and so I kind of know what that's like. Like just a good dog that's excited and but once again, I've never seen him on the line, so one of these days.
It'd be a sight. The song did remind me. You mentioned Blood Meridian earlier, but it also kind of reminded me of like a Marty Robbins song.
Oh, really? That's
like
cool.
The lyrics.
Yeah.
It's such a good tale, and it gives such a good description of the scenery and the landscape. It's like you're there.
Thank you.
The entire song, you're there, and then the end.
Then the end.
And it is.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a great song. I really like it.
Man, when I was writing, I almost thought of it like a movie or something. Like, I imagine that guy that maybe he liked that girl that got killed, and then he was a boy, he was going to get revenge. And in my head, I could see like a whole movie that would probably cost a lot to do it right. But I mean, but someone that was like actual screenwriter could probably make it cool.
Well, the song kind of writes itself.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like,
itself.
Yeah, no, well, I know who I'd call if anyone wanted to make it. I know who I'd call to get the live action dogs and horses going. So
yeah, exactly. Well, maybe we can see if we can make that happen, because that would be great. Do you plan on recording some more? Because you have, I know on YouTube you have one other song. It's
I've got two more.
Okay.
I have two songs that are kind of just acoustic guitar and voice recordings. And one of them is called Arkansas Puncher, which is kind of a humorous song. And one of them is called Cattle Golden Oil, which is, to me, more serious. And I will eventually make that a good studio recording with more than just vocals and guitar. But I also wanted to get it out because I felt like I was sitting around waiting to get everything perfect. And I figured, and I'm glad I did, even though it's, you're always critical of your own product.
Oh, yes.
But
I've had good response to it,
though. Yes, sir. And
it is really good. I just brushed up on it this morning again, and What is the line? I die like a man. Is that the line? Oh, you got to help me out here.
It's I'm not looking for your trouble, but you can bet I'll die a man.
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, not to get too political, I started writing it when one of our show, I was playing fiddle for a band in 2020 that they threatened to send the National Guard if we continued with the event because it was dangerous, to airborne
Very
germs
dangerous.
and stuff out in the field. But,
very dangerous in the field.
I mean, that song has a lot. There's a lot to it to me that's kind of brewed for a long time, but I'm kind of proud of it. And when I first got a version of it written, I had met my brother in Nashville. We were staying in a hotel together, and I played this little free deal for the Beef Initiative, which I probably haven't heard of. You may have Beef and Bitcoin guys, but they and I played that song for my brother, and he's like, "Oh man, that's cool." And I still wasn't really sure of it, and so and that night we went and ate a steak at this little steakhouse and walked out. And we walked out right into Kid Rock. He was standing there smoking a cigarette. And I kind of took that as an omen. I got to shake his hand. I was like, man, Kid Rock, he wouldn't have any qualms about singing this song. You know what I mean? So
not at all. No.
Neither should I. So
I agree. Well, yeah, so I'll probably bookend this episode with that song.
Okay.
Just send me the MP3 and I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah,
because it's also very good.
Well, I'm glad you like. It makes me happy when your stuff resonates with someone. You know what I mean? It's you put a lot into it, and then you think, well, it is what it is, but it really does make a difference when people are appreciative. So,
well, like I said when you first sent it to me, it hit me real well. I was like, I'm going to put this at the end of every episode. So,
man,
the ballad is going to go at the end. I had a buddy made my intro song, 4 years ago for me. He sent me a couple demos, and just the first one I opened, I was like, nope, this is perfect. So I've been using that, and I want to keep using that, but I want to end every episode with the ballad. It evokes the Southwest so well, especially New Mexico, honestly.
Really?
Just
I mean,
the scenery. I'm actually, I picture myself down in near Guadalupe Mountains, Carlsbad area. Like when that song comes on, it's really good. I really like it. I would play it again right now, but yeah.
It's all right. They might get bored of it. It's funny to get bored of it when I recorded that with my friend Jed Bridges over there in outside of Stephenville, Texas. He played the drums, bass, and lap steel, and I played fiddle, acoustic, and vocals. We worked on it for like a day and a half. It was real late, and it was actually went fast, but I bet we listened to it, trying to get it right. We had it on loop in the studio, and I probably heard it like 200-300 times. And then, which is amazing for me because I'm so critical of myself, and I'm still working on getting better at. I'm normally the fiddle player. I don't actually sing that. I haven't in the past, so right now I'm trying to get my voice up to speed. But I was driving back from Stephenville and I clicked it on in my truck and played it again. And I was like, man, I don't feel like I even had a part in this. Like I just heard it 400 times in a row. And then I played it again. I was like, holy crap. Like it really did feel like something outside. You know what I mean? Like some things.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to describe that feeling, but, that makes me happy to talk about it because I don't feel like it's really my fault. You know what I mean? Like the bad part or like it sounds like I could get on myself for talking about myself and my stuff too much. But I mean, like talk about that. I feel like it's that was given to me in some way. So
I'm glad it was.
Shoot.
So you go plan on recording some more, I assume?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Right now I'm playing some live shows on fiddle, and I'm working at I'm having to work a bunch at the moment. So I'm shooting a bunch of horses and just getting Lord willing, by the end of this year I'll have several more out. So I've got I got a handful of songs. So it seems like go ahead.
So you said you were from Northern California originally.
Well, I was born there and only lived there a year plus.
Okay.
And then yeah.
What got you into horses? Besides
Well,
just
it was
that they're awesome.
Yeah. That's a good question. A lot of people ask you, so well, how'd you get into shoeing horses? It's like, yeah, that's a real good question. That was a real bad decision sometimes, but no, it's not. It's something I think horses are something you kind of instinctively click with, and then some people don't pursue it. You could say maybe they're smarter. I don't know, but since I was a kid and read all those, all the Will James, and I just was like, well, I'm just going to do it for real. You know what I mean? And my dad, I always watched. My dad's a real successful computer programmer, and he has his own software company forever. But I was watching him sitting at a desk, just like this, every day, forever. And I was like, man,
I don't want to do that.
Outside. And just not in like a rebellious way, or like I appreciate what he does, but like to me, I was like, man, in hindsight, like I can see the value of, because I only went to college for a year. I was like, I'd already been to trade school. I was like, I'm wasting time. I can see the value of credentials now. I kind of understand the game better. But when you're a kid, and I went with it, and it is what it is. I've gotten pretty good at shooting racehorses, so I like it.
Yeah,
but
I grew up the same way. My father worked for an insurance company, and then he started his own financial firm, and I was like, I ain't doing that. So I went to school for archaeology, and now I work for my father.
So. Oh, wow. Well, that's awesome that you have that. I mean, I think that's great to be able to actually have that relationship with your dad. I mean, and if I could do my dad's deal, like if I understood that at all, I would work for him. He's awesome. But I mean, it's got to be cool to be able to have that kind of partnership.
Oh yeah, my dad's great, and we get along. We always have. So that's really, really easy, really good. So you asked me earlier. I'm sorry. What?
No. Go ahead.
You asked me earlier what my favorite Zane Grey novel was, and I've only read two. What is your favorite?
The one I've read the most recently was the Shepherd of Guadalupe, or now I'm going to draw a blank on the name. It's in the other room on the bookshelf, but I honestly, it's hard. To me, it's hard to pick a favorite. I mean, that's the only other one I read was Riders of the Purple Sage, which of course is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I think they made that in a movie like 5-10 times or something.
Really? See, I've never watched one. I've never seen one of the movies, so maybe I should. But
it's really bothering me now that I do not remember my favorite Zane Grey novel, because it was so good, and it painted a scene of the West and like red cliffs. It was in southern Utah. The main character, he gets like kind of knocked out in the beginning and saved by these like Mormons. And dang, it's really going to bother me. But he painted such a good picture of the scenery, kind of like Cormac McCarthy does, and like your song does. And so anything that paints a picture and helps you be in the moment, in the scenery, it makes it that much better of a piece of art, in my opinion.
Yes, sir. I've always thought that. I mean, Riders of the Purple Sage is a good example of that, using imagery. I mean, as much as you can paint a picture with a black and white on a page, that he can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so long,
and it helps that he went there and visited it.
Yeah.
He went to the spots and he saw the areas and he interacted with the people. And I think that helps a lot, which kind of is why one of the reasons why I moved out here.
Yeah.
So you be in it.
Yeah, you have you can kind of resonate it in a more real way than. Have you ever heard of Tom Russell, the artist, musician, songwriter?
I don't believe so.
I figured you might have heard this song, but if not, you're gonna love it. I would bet. It's called "Tonight We Ride" by Tom Russell, and it's a song about Blackjack Pershing chasing Pancho Villa. Yeah. But it's just a great old, and I think Tom Russell was kind of an artist. He was kind of a little mix, and he had some great, real good songs. And
I'm going to look him up now.
He was real tied into the low, like he's there kind of, you can tell by his stuff.
And that's a great story that I'm going to have to tell. I was on another podcast recently, Jay Burden, and he asked me if I've done a series over Pancho Villa and that excursion with Pershing, and I have not, but I'm going to.
Heck yeah.
It's a great era of right before World War I. It's people just don't pay too much attention to it, but it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think some of my grandmother's family lost a lot of land at that time. I don't know the politics of it very well, but my grandmother's grandmother on the maternal side had like thousands of acres right below the border. And, they on a Spanish land grant, I guess. But then I don't know if it was Pancho Villa raided or basically the communist government. They weren't communist, but I mean, the new government took it, and the head of the family said, "Oh, I'm going to fight him in court." And he said, "I'm going to represent myself," and it didn't go well, so they lost it all. But
that was one thing I learned through the Apache series is how many Americans had ranches and mines and land south of the border.
I
guess I didn't really know that, but it was so porous. And if you staked the claim, it was yours, and there were a lot.
Yeah. Well, this guy, this family member of mine, they were Mexican. So my grandmother is 100% Hispanic. I mean, but yes, I have heard that there was a lot of, I mean, it's kind of like the Lonesome Dove scenario. Just go across the border and round up some cows and see if you can get back. If you can
bring
get
them
back with them. Yeah.
Very Apache also. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to fight fire with fire, I guess.
Yes, sir. I'm almost done. It's like 125,000 words, which is probably too many for a novel, but I'm almost done with this novel I've been writing for 10 years.
Wow.
And it takes place mostly in New Mexico, the last half of it. And the main character, he's a bank robber. It's 1953. He rides motorcycles, and he robs a bank in Missouri, and it doesn't go well, so he escapes to the Rockies, and he ends up in New Mexico, where he works for Ruidoso Downs.
Okay.
I don't know.
A horse track.
So he works for Ruidoso Downs.
Awesome.
And then
is he
somebody from his past.
Is he like a hot walker? Or?
No, he's just a good old Southern boy, moonshiner who turns to bank robbing with some buddies, and then like most of the novel, it opens with the bank robbery going wrong. So it's just kind of like an adventure novel, like travelogue through the rest of it. And he ends up in New Mexico, and he's never ridden a horse. So he ends up working at Ruidoso Downs and falls for the horse racetrack owner's daughter. And then somebody from his past is like, we're going to rob the racetrack. So unfortunately, he's got to try to find a way out of it or rob it. He robs it.
Got to make some choices. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how long is it going to be before you get it published, do you think? We still looking at a few months or?
Yeah, a few months. I got to finish it, and then I got to edit it, which is tough when it's so long. And then I got to find a publisher. There are a couple that I might try, but so
that sounds exciting.
In the novel, he shoes some horses, he cleans them. He ain't like a cowboy or nothing, but he wishes he was, but he doesn't get to be, unfortunately. But yeah, so that kind of reminded me, you said you shoe race horses, and I'm like, oh yeah, Ruidoso Downs.
Yeah. I've never actually worked at Ruidoso. I know a lot of people that run there. I've probably shot a couple that ran there, but I never actually been to the track there. So
it's really beautiful. It's like set in this little canyon almost, and it's surrounded by mountains. It's real pretty.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. And didn't they have a big fire this last year there or something?
They did.
I heard that.
I don't know if it was at Ruidoso Downs. It was in Ruidoso proper, I think, in the mountains. And then it was so bad that the monsoons came and the floods there was no soul to really like stop it. So it was bad. I haven't been since then, actually. My wife and I were there maybe a couple of weeks before the fire, just like antique shopping and checking out the town again. We're like 3 hours away, so it's an easy drive. And I think it was pretty devastated. I'll have to go back pretty soon.
Yeah.
Especially when my novel goes out.
Yeah, for sure. Did you, now your novel reminded me of a work of nonfiction, which you may or may not have heard of, called Rebel Gold. And it's by a guy, this hillbilly in West Arkansas, co-written by like a New York Times journalist, which it's a kind of, you can tell there's a funny
clash,
but it's about
there.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really come through, but you can kind of like read between the lines sometimes. And but
Carpetbagger comes through every now and then.
So this guy, his grandfather was a Knights of the Golden Circle sentinel, and guarding this underground treasure. Like they had this treasure maps, and he found a way to like crack the code basically, and they followed it all the way out to like Arizona somewhere, like this grid on this geographical grid. And he said I don't want to spoil the book because it's pretty badass to read, but they unlocked they figured out where the grid stretched out to in somewhere in Arizona in the desert, and a bunch of rocks and stuff. So him and his buddy went out there. He said within 10 minutes of turning on a metal detector, here comes a helicopter with like a unmarked guy come out. He's like, "What are y'all doing?" So I'm just looking for rocks. So we'll get out. All right. And that was like, 15, 20 years ago or something. Anyway, I'm
going to read that book.
Pretty, yeah. I bet it's it may be not so much geographical, but I mean, the way that they describe the countryside and the way they marked where they would bury their stuff. And in fact, like 2 or 3 miles from my house, allegedly Jesse James buried a bunch of gold that they stole in Hot Springs.
Awesome. And, have you ever looked for it?
And I would, but the people that live up that little hollow, I mean, I know a couple of them, but A, they wouldn't give me permission probably, and B, the rest of the people around there would not be real thrilled. If you snuck in there. Yeah, it's kind of I mean, it's back there,
Yeah. So that,
and I'm not from here, so
that makes sense. Yeah, that Rebel Gold. That's a true story, nonfiction.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's a nonfiction book. Yep. Yeah, It's amazing. I mean, it got me fired up. Like I was wanting to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read that. Yeah, my main character's name is Rebel, actually, in the
sweet
in the novel. Kind of cliche, but yeah. And I just taught. I kind of got into the Knights of the Golden Circle. Sorry, when I was researching for my Civil War series in the beginning. So
I didn't know how extensive that was. I couldn't tell from this book if that was just like a little thing or was that pretty widespread across.
There were some politicians in DC that were knights.
Okay.
Jefferson Davis may have been. It's unconfirmed.
Okay.
I know that the Knights of the Golden Circle and some militiamen under Baylor pretty much took the Alamo in 1861 from the Federals. So they were having a meeting and they're like, let's go get the Alamo.
That's awesome.
They like hiked overnight. And then when they got to San Antonio, they met up with the Knights there and they all posseed up and surrounded the Alamo. And we're like, you got to hand over everything to the Confederacy. And the leader, I forgot his name now. The leader of the Alamo, the head of the Department of Texas, he was a Georgian, and he, despite not wanting to betray the Union, he gave everything over, and then he joined the Confederacy in Georgia.
Oh wow! So
he died shortly afterwards. Yeah.
Dang.
But yeah, so
that's an amazing story.
I'm gonna have to read that book for sure. Now I'm gonna have to go find it. That sounds.
I would tell you who the author is, but I think you'd be able to find it just by searching.
I'm gonna find.
I don't remember Yeah. I was just.
That'll be great.
Said Baylor. I've just in this weekend. I've been in Waco, outside of Waco, playing music, and they got a lot of cool stuff there. There's a Texas Ranger Museum, which I've only been to one time years ago, but
I'll have to go to that.
Who was you would probably know what was the guy that there was another big general in the war between the states down there that was somebody's Raiders, and it wasn't Baylor. It was I'm drawing
Ford?
a blank now. I haven't. No, not for. Colonel Terry. Do you know anything about Colonel Terry?
I do not.
Okay, he's another
I
interesting
gotta look him
character I
up.
read a little bit about. Yeah, I want to get a Colonel Terry's Raiders flag to put right there.
Yeah.
We haven't been in his house very long, and my decor is a little sparse, so
That's
I'll
all
have
right.
to get yeah.
All right, man. Well,
Anyway,
thank you for coming on the show. This has been awesome. It's good to talk to you.
man,
Nice to finally meet you.
likewise. I appreciate
And
the invitation. It means a lot.
well, I appreciate the song. I appreciate all the music. It is fantastic. I can't wait to bookend all my episodes with it.
Sweet. Well,
And we'll have to get you out here one day to visit.
That'll be great. Well, next time we're out that direction, we won't be far, so we'll meet up over there.
You know, my neighbor just down, I mean, we have 2.5 acres, but my neighbor 2 houses down caught a lion on the trail cam like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
So they're
That's
around
awesome.
here.
They better watch that little kid out there. Leave
I
him
know.
on the porch unattended.
I carry when I'm outside now after seeing that lion.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Man,
you never know.
Well, it sounds like you got a good, secluded, nice, wild area to live in. So,
Yeah, it's pretty
cool.
nice. I mean, we can see I-40 from our house, but it's,
Yeah.
miles away.
Yeah.
But it still feels like we're in our own little secluded mountain up here.
Yeah, I know, but people that haven't been out there don't realize how open and wild it is in some of those parts of the country. I mean, it's every time I get through there, then it always amazes me.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
And we want to keep it that way.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you one more. Much. Yes, sir.
Okay. One more song recommendation if you want to keep it that way. Red Shahan. I don't know if you heard of him. He's got a song called Men and Coyotes, and it's kind of about or maybe Culberson County. It's about West Texas, but just look up Red Shahan. He's awesome.
I will. All right. Well, thank you, sir. It was a pleasure, and I will talk to you soon.
Likewise. Do it again.